Welcome to By Your Side, Divorce Law and Support.
Hello and welcome back to By Your Side, Divorce Law and Support with Patricia Sokolich. Pat is a longtime family law attorney and now a divorce coach who helps women move through separation with clarity and confidence. I'm Lisa Mosbey, and today we're talking about what comes after the divorce is final. Pat will walk you through rebuilding your life, adjusting to new routines, and finding your strength in the next chapter. Pat, welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Pat, once the divorce judgment is signed, what are the first steps women should take to get everything in order?
Well, this is a matter of planning, and I believe in it. I always advise clients that they need to be doing this all through the divorce. In other words, once the divorce is final, everything doesn't fall into place unless the legwork's been there and been done before. And this means that during the process of the divorce, there's certain things that are being established that are going to help you once the divorce is final, because you're looking at certain things. For instance, how is the visitation or the custody going to work out after? How are the finances going to work out for me? Have I had a discussion with a financial advisor or a banker or someone so that I can be sure that I'm going to be okay and I can continue the lifestyle that I've had in the past? There is I don't want to get too deeply into the law, but the law pretty much in the case law states that the woman or the person getting divorced has a right to continue the lifestyle that they've had before, meaning that they should come out of this whole. Now, it's going to be two houses and whatever, but you should come out of this whole. In other words, you shouldn't come out of this at the end financially crippled, not being able to do what you did before, not being able to take a vacation or whatever. Everything's in moderation, of course, but it's important to understand before the end that these decisions are going to impact how your life is after the divorce.
We've talked about how long this divorce process can take. So those are things that can be worked on during, and they also occupy your mind and your thoughts if you're focusing on what is going to happen at the end. What is this going to look like? How do we make plans? That's difficult to do unless you have a divorce coach or somebody on your side, whether it's a therapist, a coach, some confidant that you can talk, confidant that you can talk to about this, right?
As I said, some women use therapists. A therapist is going to be good individually for your own mental health and emotional support, but they're not going to be able to tell you and explain to you how this divorce is going to affect you, whether it's your children, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's, your mental health. I mean, that's a very important way to determine how is life going to be after the divorce. I had a client once who walked away from a lot of money because the divorce was so acrimonious and it was taking so long that she wound up giving up some financial benefits that she should have had. And she called me after the divorce several months later and she said to me, Pat, she said, I made a good decision. And I said, really? She said to me, I'm sitting here eating peanut butter and jelly by myself, but I am so happy and relieved that it's over. So as I thought, everybody has different goals and different things they want out of the divorce. And it's important to establish ahead of time, how are we going to help the client reach those goals so that when they come out of this, they feel somewhat whole, knowing that they can go on and proceed with their life, help their children to maintain the status quo, and continue a life going down the road.
Pat, how can someone start rebuilding a sense of identity and confidence after the divorce?
Well, again, it's very hard it's not something you can tell a person or necessarily help a person if they don't have a good sense of themselves, if they don't have self-esteem. It's hard without professional help for the person to power through a divorce and come out on the other end being being whole, being able to go forward with their own life and take care of themselves. That's one of the reasons why a divorce coach is important in that respect, because you can explain to the client how important it may be for them to get professional help, because a professional is going to be able to give them that self-esteem, help them realize what they need to do to rebuild their lives and move forward. Divorce is the end of something, but many women don't understand how to start the next portion of their life. And that's what I would like to prepare them with and help them um, understand that the next portion of their life is something that they need to figure out, and they need to do it with help if that's what's necessary.
And Pat, what financial steps help create stability in that first year after divorce?
As I said, those financial steps have to be taken way, way, way back in the beginning, even prior to the divorce. As I mentioned, gathering the financial information of your life. Some women sign income tax statements and never look at them. Some women don't know what sort of investments or pensions or 401s their husband has. If they're just home and they're not employed themselves, they don't tend to think about these things. He gets the taxes done and she comes, he says, here, sign, and she does. So, way, way back in the beginning, and this is where a divorce coach comes in, it's very important to show them how to set up a budget, how much it's going to take for them to maintain the lifestyle, and how are we going to make that happen? It's important to do that prior to filing for the divorce, because throughout the divorce, you need to understand that the financial stability after the divorce is being worked on right now. And that's when it has to be taken care of. It's not something like once the divorce is over, you sit down and say, well, what am I going to do now financially? These are matters that need to be discussed and taken care of during the divorce when you have the opportunity. So it's important. Women, whether they're working or not, they deserve a fair shake, and they deserve a fair portion of the marital funds and the marital pie. They need to understand this before they embark on this matter.
And with all your experience and knowledge in working with many women, for women who have children, how can they support these kids in adjusting to new routines and family dynamics? What do you have to offer them in that arena?
Um, well, again, it's dependent on the age of the children, but generally speaking, to to support the children and also to help them get through this, I usually try to inform them that let the children know that things are changing, but their life doesn't necessarily need to change. In other words, sometimes it's a matter of just saying, tell the kids that, well, instead of just having one Christmas, you're going to have two Christmases, Christmas with dad and Christmas with mom. You try to put the positive spin on things for them. Children need to understand that when there's a visitation schedule, they need to visit dad whether they like it or not. So it's important for the mother to be very supportive and to explain to them, yeah, you need to go see daddy, even if you don't want to, because that's what you're supposed to do, and daddy loves you. So it's important to prepare the children for the changes, such as the visitation, such as splitting holidays, whether it's, one, you alternate, many ways of doing it. Most people just alternate one year versus the next year. But you can prepare your kids. You can tell them these things ahead of time. Let them know that they're going to have maybe two homes, two bedrooms, two playrooms or whatever. So it can be done. It needs to be done to support your children. And those are the children that come out more emotionally healthy and stable. You don't want their grades to fail. You don't want them to become depressed and sit in their room crying. You need to be there. You need to be a mother and you need to like give them the tools to get through the divorce.
Pat, what are your insights on how women can protect themselves from slipping back into old patterns or unhealthy dynamics?
Well, you know, it's uh, it's very true that when a woman tends to remarry, she tends to remarry the same type of person that she divorced. And yeah, and so uh, there's not much you can do. What I generally tell women is to take a breath, not to move forward with any immediate plans, especially for long-term relationships. You've got to like step back and start establishing your own mental health, your own what is it my life looks like? What do I want to do with my life? Before you start taking on another suitor, potential husband. Women need to understand they don't need to have a husband to be happy and to be successful and emotionally healthy. They need to establish that for themselves, and then another relationship may be in the offing. But it's very hard to tell people this. Again, this is something that, as I said, I've advised people, and I, often tell them straight out. But sometimes they need a professional to help them through this post-divorce period also. But again, my services are there. I know I've been successful helping other women get through this, and there's many things that can be done to assure them that life can go on. The important thing is that you have your health and that mentally you become stronger and more assertive and more understanding of what your needs are now that you're facing life alone.
And I think you're right with the time. We need to give it time to
Mhm.
heal and continue to maintain relationships because I think it's really easy to hide out in your house or hide out in your bedroom and stop engaging and oftentimes friends will or family might pick one side or the
Mhm.
other and there's all these challenges but from what you've seen, how can friends or family or support groups help women to heal after a divorce?
I think the best way is to try and continue the lifestyle that you had, the relationship that you had with this person prior to the divorce. Uh, the big problem, as you said, is that people take sides. You have to be aware of that. You have to know it's going to happen. Every relationship that you had is not going to continue to be the same. So you have to look to the ones that are going to be there for you. You have to look to the people that are available and are going to be helpful to you getting through this. Some women they need to take a period of time before they understand how life is going to be different. They may need to find new outlets for themselves, maybe new groups of people, whatever it takes. But the understanding is it's not going to be the same. It's never the same as it was when you were married. Divorce is different. Divorce is a new beginning, and you need to be aware of that and be ready to move forward.
How can coaching women create support for them in moving them from coping with the present to confidently planning ahead and moving forward?
I think that coaching is important because you can make the client aware of these problems and issues that are going to come up ahead of time and help them work towards finding new outlets, finding new groups of people if that's what's necessary, relying on friends. And I'm talking about friends that are going to be helpful to you. There's some friends that are going to make you second guess your decision. They're going to make you try and rethink things and try and make you feel like it's your fault or your problem. You need to get rid of those friends. You need to find new people, whether it's in a post-divorce group. There's many groups out there, and this is one of the things that I often offer them. There's help out there. There's people that are willing to lead you to start a new life. There's people that are going to support you and let you know that this isn't the end, this is a new beginning, and you have to avail yourselves of them. So certainly a divorce coach is there for the person throughout the divorce. These are not the type of things that an attorney is going to do for you, but a divorce coach is going to be there for you from beginning to the end and make sure that you are able to walk away from this successfully and still have a good life going forward.
I almost want to leave it there, but I do want to ask you one more question. And that is, what final words of encouragement do you want women to hear as they step into life after divorce, even if they feel uncertain about what's ahead?
Well, the important thing is to take that step. Take that next step into life post-divorce. Take it whether you're afraid, whether you feel like you're not equipped, whether you're just depressed and crying. Take that next step because you don't know where it's going to lead. And what's important is going forward, you're going to find the things that you were never able to see before. You're going to find the things that make you happy and you alone happy. And that's what's empowering, and that's what's important for women that are divorced, to go forward and find their happiness. As again, I'm going to just mention that that's one of the things, one of the important things that I discuss with clients at the beginning. How do you want to end up? What's going to make you happy at the end of this divorce? And when you work with them throughout the divorce with those goals in mind, it's much easier for them to step into their new life and to help them go forward and get where they need to be.
Thank you for that. And it was well said once again. And I just wanted to say thank you for your compassion for women and what they're going through and how you come alongside them and walk with them through this process. So thank you for sharing all of your insights again today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for listening to By Your Side, Divorce Law and Support with Patricia Sokolich. If you're adjusting to life after divorce and want guidance to move forward with confidence, Pat offers private coaching to help you rebuild your life and create a clear plan for your future. To learn more or schedule a session, you can call 917-478-7505 or visit SokolichFamilyLaw.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share this episode with someone who might need it today. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.